Hello, and welcome back to another episode of What Does This Button Do? The series where I play games passionately and try not to screw up my intro.
And I am impressed that you didn't. Good job.
I'm Rhiannon.
And I'm Sigma.
And tonight we are going to hop right back into Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. We're gonna continue our investigation where we left off last time, in the hopes of finding out a bit more of how we ended up in this situation, with Tyrion facing against Ruby as a prosecutor.
Yeah, no, this is kind of weird.
So without any further ado, let's hop right back in here.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, we were gonna talk to Harold, but he's not here right now.
He'll be around.
So, the study?
I think...
Okay.
Maybe we've got stuff to present.
Do we?
I feel like we might.
We need to ask her about the will? I've slightly forgotten what we were up to last time.
You're right, it was the will.
The will?
The will. Will.
That's a map, I
Will.
know.
The lid.
The lid!
The lid. Freeze!
Why can't I find anything about the will?
Will?
Do we need to ask about the stolen sword?
Why would that get us anything about the will?
Listen. Leifa's testimony?
Nope.
No? Let's, come back to this later.
But we do need that information.
Celeste, can you help? We should talk to Leifa again.
Right.
Right. Okay. Then back to the bedroom. Ask if this will had an apocalypse Stinetto giveaway.
Apocalypse stone to give away, dear.
Oh.
Apocalypse stone.
There wasn't a space between stone and two. I thought it was like a title. I don't know.
Okay, but given Different does tend to have issues with typo. Yeah, there we go. They just have issues with typos on this particular, just on YouTube stream chat for some reason.
Present evidence of her engagement.
Yeah. Or not?
Do we start the argument now?
No.
No. Are you sure?
Pretty sure. You can try if you want.
Beatrice Frega seems to be hiding what her father was doing in his study. You doubt that she's doing this out of malice. She might not even think that it's relevant to the case. But William Frega had many enemies, and he retreated into his study to do something that night. And that something could be related to why he was murdered. Okay. No, not without the complete psychological profile.
Maybe we can talk to Maybe we can talk to Aria about Lyfo's testimony and also the scuttlebutt on the engagement.
Yeah, we can try that. Study. I don't know why I'm struggling with this. Hey,
To be fair, we are struggling.
any dirt on this? No? I mean, I could suggest why he retreated, but I don't think you do. Okay, so that was...
Yes, he retreated to his study to make a Twitch account. Clearly.
Thoughts? No?
Okay, well, clearly I'm off mark. Hold on, can we check the evidence again real quick? Just mind if I take over? No, obviously not.
Those are maps. That's the
No.
lockdown system.
And I am honestly at a loss.
Yeah, that was my next thought too, Z. Look around the room again, maybe the will is here somewhere.
Raja, let's have a go. It's a bookshelf filled with books, as opposed to a bookshelf filled with ham.
I wonder what kind of books Lord Frega owned. Wait a minute, they're all blank!
All of his real books are on the floor or his desk.
That's dumb.
There's a large mahogany table at the end of the room. Lord Frega must have done his work here.
And we look in the drawers?
No, that would be an invasion of privacy.
We're investigating, and he's dead!
There's a window that leads into this room. Could the murderer have escaped through here?
No, the window doesn't open, and the glass is magically reinforced.
There are several books about economics and politics. It doesn't look like there's anything of note. Nope. It's a painting of some sort of scholar. There's some text on it. Rook Resingar, economic scholar and aristocratic accountant. He was known in some circles as Rook the Cook due to his ability to cook the books of the four pillar houses. Yes, Rook the Cook cooking the books, yes.
Rook the Cook. Sometimes I wish I could have a nickname like that.
What about Crimson Demon?
Ugh, not that one.
Oh, did he trump it? He trumped it. It's a fireplace. Could the murderer have entered through here?
That wouldn't be possible. The chimney is far too narrow.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Ho, ho, ho.
Even a small child wouldn't be thin enough to fit through it.
Aria, don't tell me you've never heard of Santa Claus.
Okay, nothing here.
Nothing there. Maybe we still haven't found something in Beatrice's bedroom?
Yeah, man, I don't know why I'm so stuck on this.
I mean, we both are, and I've played through this already, so... What the hell am I missing? Let's see, we already found the sword. Aren't any other magical traces, so... We ever checked for magical traces in the gallery?
I don't think we did. It
Well-
seems kind of pointless because it's full of magical artifacts, but...
Yes, but... a crime scene.
Arcanum.
There are traces of evocation magic on the shattered glass.
Evocation is a school of magic that creates and unleashes raw energy. It's the most primal of the 7 schools of magic. Someone must have used a powerful spell to blast the display case blast the display case apart. There we go.
And that seems to be it.
So it would seem. Well, there is also this. The display case is completely shattered. The thief was able to do this despite there being several abjuration spells protecting it.
These are all... Oh, but this is also empty.
The display case that held the armbands of intellect is empty. The display case holding the earrings of vitality is completely untouched. Whoever stole the artifacts ignored it. Curious. Very curious.
This is probably dumb, but... Nope.
Well, you tried.
It's like, hey, I would like to report a theft and subsequent finding.
You think we could maybe ask her using a profile? Lifeless, maybe?
Profile... Lifa?
What's your impression of Life of Frega?
She tends to keep to herself, so I don't know her very well. After Beatrice left, Lord Frega publicly named her as his heir. That must have been a difficult burden for her to bear. That doesn't seem to have gotten us anything.
Okay, well, how the hell do we find out about... So?
What do you think of your future father-in-law?
I really don't think this is going to get us anywhere, but... Yeah.
Okay, well, I tried.
Maybe present her father? Or either of her siblings.
That man. He was my father, but I can't say that I have fond memories of him.
He must have been difficult to deal with.
You have no idea. He was cruel, tyrannical, and only ever cared about his own legacy. He was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to maintain his power and status, including his own daughters.
It sounds like his treatment of Beatrice was particularly harsh.
It was! He never saw her as a worthy successor to our family's legacy, simply because she was a woman. Even after her accident, he used her disability as an excuse to strip her of any power she had left.
I can only imagine how difficult that must have been for all of you.
It's been a constant struggle, but we managed to survive. As bad as it sounds, now that he's gone, we might have a chance to rebuild our family.
Aha!
There we are! Now we're getting somewhere!
Tell me more about your family.
Yes, please, tell me
Or
about...
perhaps the monkey.
No, not the monkey. Your family.
I'm sure Beatrice's return must have been surprising for you.
It is. To be honest, I've been hoping for years that she'd finally return. But now that she has, she's just gotten pulled into another one of our family's messes. There we are.
That was like pulling teeth.
Took a minute, but we got there. Life of Frega's psychological profile is complete. Now let's start this argument. Life of Frega seems to be hiding what her father was doing in his study. You doubt that she's doing this out of malice. She might not even think that it's relevant to the case. But William Frega had many enemies, and he retreated into his study to do something that night. And that something could be related to why he was murdered. Start an argument.
A very crunchy argument. But first, a psychological profile.
You just met Life of Frega today, and she has no reason to trust you. He believes in Beatrice's innocence over everything else. She is usually sincere, so it's unlikely that she is actually involved in her father's murder. She might react well if you respond with a similar sincerity.
Makes sense to me. Is there something you're not telling us, Lifa? Because I have a feeling that you know more than you're letting on.
What?
What was your father doing in his study?
I already told you. I don't know. I have no idea what my father was doing. My father was a private man. He wouldn't share something like that with me. Is it because through her thoughts we know he made an adjustment to the will?
That seems reasonable. And it paid off. He was making some sort of change to his will, wasn't he?
What? Did someone else tell him?
Why did you find the need to hide this from us?
I didn't! The thoughts you saw earlier seemed to disagree with that.
I love her little eyebrows. So cute, like little caterpillars.
She is very cute.
We've only just met today, so I understand if you don't trust us. But the Inquisition thinks that Beatrice murdered your father, and they claim that she did so for his inheritance.
That's absolutely absurd!
Regardless, your father's inheritance is likely a motive behind his murder. Many people would have a lot to gain from his death, including you.
Excuse me? I was not involved in this! How could you even think that I'd be capable of something like this?
I didn't mean to imply that you were involved in this, but it's clear that the murderer's motive was to take control of House Frega. This means that their plan heavily relied on who William Frega was leaving his assets to. So I need to know, Miss Frega. How was your father planning to change his will?
I don't know. I was never aware of the details of my father's will. I've already told you, my father was a secretive man. He didn't share the details of his estate with me. Then why would you be fighting against your planned engagement?
Is that really true, though?
What?
I already know about your arranged marriage to Jaden von Sanctus. And I also know that as a part of this deal, Jaden would inherit House Frega instead of you. You definitely knew about this. Heavily resisted the marriage in an attempt to stall it. Wait, I'm tripping over everything tonight. Means that you had some idea of how your father's will was arranged. So what aren't you telling me, Miss Frega?
I can't trust you.
What?
You are here on behalf of Crown Prince Aster. The Four Pillar families and the Crown have much to gain from my father's death. How can you assure me that this information won't be used against my family?
Listen, there is a non-zero chance I'll end up having more strokes anyway.
So that's why she's been so secretive.
James Bond was having a strong call of bondulance.
Rationalize.
Maybe. Where's the peel one again?
She does like sincerity.
That would probably play well here. There's nothing I could possibly say to make you trust me. But please understand, I'm only trying to find out who murdered your father. To do that, I need to know everything that he was doing that night.
There we go.
There we go.
I have no reason to trust you.
As we've established.
But somehow, I can tell that you're being sincere. Will you really protect Beatrice? You're about to reassure her that you will, but something in the back of your mind stops you.
I'll get to the truth of what really happened.
Okay. If that's truly what you're planning to do, I'll tell you what I know. Finally. I wasn't trying to be uncooperative, but I didn't know who I could trust.
Considering the circumstances, that's perfectly understandable.
I'm not sure why, but my father was extremely upset that night. According to him, Beatrice had returned and was even more impudent than before.
He must have been angry about something she said during their meeting. Did he tell you what their meeting was about?
He didn't, and I honestly didn't really care. I was just so happy that my sister had finally returned. But my father clearly felt the opposite. Before he entered his study, he told me that he would be pruning the family tree.
Dick!
He was going to disinherit my sister and several other members of our family.
He probably started drafting a new will to reflect that decision.
William Frega's inheritance. Updated. On the night of the murder, Beatrice finally returned to her home. She arranged a meeting with her father. This meeting didn't end as planned, and Beatrice angered William Frega enough for him to declare that he would be disinheriting her that night.
Has anyone found the draft of his will?
No. It was one of the first things I looked for after the investigation began. The modified will is missing? You doubt that it would even be enforced. He never got a chance to submit it for probate before he died. But you can't discount the possibility that the murderer destroyed it.
Did anyone else know about this?
No one. I didn't even tell Lady Steelwind when she was questioning me.
Because it would have given Beatrice a motive to commit the murder. Thank you, Miss Frega.
Mr. Cuthbert.
Yes?
My sister is not a bad person. There's no way that she'd do something like this. Despite what she says, she seems to have some doubts.
She's in good hands. Ruby Timura is the one defending her in the trial, after all.
I hope so. Anyway, you think that you've learned everything you can from Laika. There's only one last person to speak with. Harold Haraldson.
Oh boy.
Finally!
Our favorite weird old dude.
And his horrible little monkey.
This is a complete mess.
As you enter the gallery, you spot Haraldson inspecting the shattered remnants of a display case. If you recall correctly, the display case that he's looking at once held the Sword of Spell-Eating.
Ah, Mr. Cuthbert. I had a feeling I'd be seeing you again. He's working for the Crown Prince.
It seems word has spread about your deal with Aster.
Hello again, Mr. Haraldson. Harold. Right. Harold. I'm sure you already know that I'm investigating the murder of William Frega. And the prosecution suspects that someone used the Sword of Spell-Eating to break into Lord Frega's room. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the theft last night. I'll tell you what I can, but I'm not sure how much help I'll be.
The artifacts. I can't believe a museum owns such a powerful magic item. I would have expected the noble houses to take them for themselves.
Well, the nobility of today don't have much use for items such as these. The power of a lord is based on politics rather than magical strength. A noble wouldn't want to wield the sword of a demon, even if the legend's a good story.
A demon?
Oh, right. The Sword of Spell-Eating is said to have been forged from a pact between a demon and a mage.
Isn't making a pact with a demon just asking for trouble?
Well, yes, funnily enough.
They'd definitely betray you the first chance they got.
Well, legends say that demons often drafted blood contracts for this reason. Wait, you mean like a legally binding contract? The concept is similar, but once you sign a blood contract, both you and the demon are magically compelled to fulfill its terms. It's said that violating its terms will result in instant death for the offender, no matter who it is. So I guess there's some protection. Well, as an attorney, I'm sure you understand that it's possible to exploit and use loopholes in any contract. And according to the legends, demons take great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people.
This is true.
Yes. According to the prosecution, the theft took place during the Lord's Ball. Shouldn't there have been plenty of witnesses in the gallery at that time? That's the strangest thing. Supposedly, the gallery room was completely empty when it happened. What? That can't be right. And honestly, I have no idea how anyone could produce enough magic to shatter the display case.
Were the wards protecting the case that powerful?
Well, they were powerful, but that's not the issue here. It would be one thing to dispel the wards and remove the glass protecting it. But it's another thing entirely to completely annihilate the abjuration wards and shatter the glass. Doing something like that would require an extremely powerful spell, far more powerful than what would have been needed.
Sword of Spell Eating, updated. On the night of the murder, someone used a powerful spell to completely shatter the magically protected glass that was containing it. It was later found in Beatrice Frega's old room.
So you're saying that the force applied was excessive? Yes, and that's not the worst of it. It's clear that the Sword of Spell Eating wasn't the... Okay. Something going on there, monkey? Clear that the Sword of Spell Eating wasn't the only item that was stolen.
I'm sorry, I'm just really tickled by Eugene the monkey doing the scary anime glasses. What? Was another artifact stolen that night?
Yes, Eugene stole a banana out of my pocket.
That's not an artifact.
No, but you can see he feels very guilty about it. You mentioned that another item was stolen. Yes, it's extremely concerning.
Monkey Harold knows too much.
After the Sword of Spell Eating was reported missing, I checked the other exhibits. That's when I discovered that the armbands of intellect had been stolen as well. And unlike the Sword of Spell Eating, we still haven't found the armbands.
You look at the glass case where the armbands used to be. They've been removed, but the glass case is completely intact.
The thief didn't shatter the glass. Exactly. Moreover, the armbands were actually replaced with a very well-made replica. What?
Armbands of Intellect has been updated. On the night of the murder, Harold Haroldson discovered that the armbands of Intellect were also stolen. The glass holding the armbands wasn't shattered, and the armbands were replaced with a very convincing replica.
Yes, might want to fix that minor grammatical error, dev team. You're watching this, which you're not.
What is going on here? The two thefts are completely different from one another. Are they even related? Or did two different thieves coincidentally steal from Harold that night?
The plot thickens.
Like a fine stew.
You mentioned that someone would have needed a powerful spell to shatter the display case. Wouldn't that narrow down the list of suspects for the theft? Not everyone attending the ball could cast spells that powerful. Well, according to the Inquisition, Beatrice Frega's magic was powerful enough to have done this. Then again, so is this rock. If you throw it hard enough. Discounting the fact that she's completely blind. Yes, I'm well aware of that. And it doesn't sit quite right with me either. Was there anyone else at the Lord's Ball capable of matching Beatrice's power? Only the the Four Pillars could have invoked magic this powerful. But apparently, Beatrice is an exception to that.
Is Beatrice really that powerful? Or is she being scapegoated by one of the house leaders? But the cases can be opened normally, can't they? Otherwise, how would you transport the artifacts from place to place?
Ah, yes, the magical locks on the case can be disabled.
You detect some fear. Is he hiding something?
How are they normally disabled? Well, they can be turned on and off using a spoken password. How many people know this password? Only myself. I personally oversee the transport of these items when they're moved.
Heralds and security. Update. The spells that guard the displays can be temporarily disabled using a spoken password. Harold Haraldson is supposedly the only person who knows this password. So Harold could have stolen the sword that night. Could he have staged the robbery to cover his tracks? Last point.
Harold, a witness told us that you got into an argument with William Frega on the night of the murder. Was William Frega planning on defunding the Haraldson Hall of History? Yes, he was. He made that very clear. But that doesn't mean I had anything to do with his murder. Well, we're not saying that you did, but I need to explore every possibility. So I need to ask, did your argument that night turn hostile?
Which would also mean Eugene knows the password, which means he's the murderer!
He really is a horrible little monkey. I'll admit that our discussion turned heated, but it never escalated to threats of violence. With how insulting he was, it should have. William was being unreasonable, and I was frustrated. But that's all there was to it. He deserved what happened to him.
The guy shows more resentment than he's letting on.
Did you have any conflicts with him prior to that night? Well, we have had disagreements in the past. He was receiving pressure from the royal family about what I was displaying in my museum. The king believed that some of my exhibits were too controversial for the public eye.
Audio medium, so you cannot tell that I just rolled my eyes very hard.
What do you mean? Well, I'm sure you've noticed the rising tensions between the common folk and the nobility. I've never been one to shy away from the bloodier parts of Withengard's history. The citizens must know about these parts of history, otherwise we're liable to repeat them.
Oh god, he's doing physical acting.
However, the king believed that my historical exhibits did nothing but dig up old wounds. Well, nothing but simpletons, a lot of them.
The nobility thinks they can smooth public relations by censoring history, as if they couldn't get any worse.
That sounds familiar.
At any rate, it's clear that Harold is passionate about his work. Would that passion drive him far enough to commit murder, though?
Thank you for your time, Harold.
Harold.
I think we'll be on our way now. I love Harold, man. He's great.
We have a lot of info, but none of it really leads anywhere.
So many people had a motive to murder William Frega, but who actually did it?
Perhaps you should take some time to review everything that you've learned.
All this aside, let's go over the events that happened that night.
Oh boy, time for a breakdown.
It all started when the sword of spell eating was stolen. What do we know about the thief of the sword of spell eating? We don't have a specific suspect, but we do know something about him.
The thief is a powerful mage.
It'd be one thing to dispel the wards and remove the blah 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 blah. Dog, I'm keeping that take. We're moving on. They've already heard this bit anyway. But it's another thing entirely to completely annihilate the abjuration wards and shatter the glass. Doing something like that would require an extremely powerful spell. Far more powerful than what would have been needed. The thief was a powerful mage. It's the only way they could have shattered the magically reinforced glass.
But what about Harold? He could have just unlocked it using his password.
He could have stolen the sword and staged a robbery, but he couldn't have shattered the glass. Only a powerful mage could have done that. I doubt Harold would lie about that when we could easily confirm it with Steelwind.
Right. But then what happened next?
They brazenly stole the sword at Spelling. It caused Harold to report the theft to the Kingsguard.
After Lord Haraldson reported the theft, the Inquisition discreetly placed the manor on lockdown. They searched every room in the manor to try to find it. But it was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom.
And that led them to believe that she had stolen it.
That's correct. The King's Guard moved to arrest her, but Prince Aster ordered them to step down.
Then there's Lifa's statement.
My father was extremely upset about something. I think Beatrice may have offended him during their meeting. The servant said that he wanted to be left alone. He retreated into his study immediately after their meeting. I tried to speak with him when the theft was reported, but he didn't much care about the missing artifact. This happened before they activated the lockdown. It was a little after 1 a.m. that night.
What does this tell us about William Frega? Lifa's account gives us a clear fact about when William died.
William died after the theft was reported. William died after the body was found.
I'm not dead yet.
What?
Yeah, I think you might have your sequence of events a little bit.
Before the theft was reported?
No.
No? Before the lockdown was lifted?
Yes. No? Okay, fine. After it was activated. Some of these are a little obtuse, let's be honest.
There we go.
William Frega was murdered after the lockdown was activated.
This means that whoever killed him bypassed the lockdown and broke into the magically locked room. They had to have used the sword, right?
That's likely, but not necessarily true. An anti-magic field would have also had the same effect.
But can you cast an anti-magic field while you're in an anti-magic field?
Nope. The murderer could have stolen the spell-eater sword to throw off the investigation.
The anti-magic field is a high-level spell. Not many mages would be able to cast it.
And I doubt any of the nobles here will live to see their spell companions. But because of how powerful anti-magic field is, we can still conclude that the murderer is a powerful mage. This actually narrows down our list of suspects.
That's still not concrete evidence, though. And we haven't even spoken to all of the suspects yet. Right. You never got a chance to speak with Lucio Steelwind.
Whichever.
But given his status, you wonder if that would even be possible.
Either way, it's a good start. And it's not as if we're defending this case. The trial is getting close anyway.
You don't doubt Miss Tamora's abilities, but you should share what you've learned with her before the trial begins. It's a little strange that you haven't seen her since the investigation began. But she might be meeting with Beatrice at the dungeon. So I guess we go there? Yeah.
Bye, Bye, horrible little monkey.
Bye, Harold. You arrive at the dungeon and search for Miss Tamora. She wasn't at the crime scene, so she must be here to discuss the case with Beatrice. Or at least that's what you thought, but you don't see her anywhere. Here. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert.
Good enough. Oh, hi.
You were so caught up in your thoughts, you didn't notice that you were walking right in front of Beatrice's cell. I didn't expect to see you here. I didn't expect to see you here!
Yes, that is a very mutual feeling.
Celeste lets out a shriek as Eris approaches you two from behind.
I'm gonna put a bell on her.
For a split second, you see her hand dart toward her sword. It appears that she still hasn't gotten over her instinctual fear of Eris.
Eris? What are you doing here?
Beatrice is actually an acquaintance of my father.
Of course.
He sent me here to help her through this ordeal.
That brings up many more questions. But you don't really have time to pull on that thread. You have less than an hour before the trial begins. You need to find Ms. Tamora.
Have either of you seen Ms. Tamora? I have some things to share with her.
Well, we know Beatrice didn't see her.
Rude! Accurate, but rude.
She was just here, but she left to retrieve some documents from her office.
Do you have any idea when she'll be back?
She didn't say, but if your discussion has something to do with the case, I could pass a message on to her.
I feel a little hesitant for some reason, but it is her life on the line. If anyone should know about what you found during your investigation, it's her.
Okay, let me tell you what I know.
You spend some time going through your findings with Beatrice. Thank you for not making us read all that. From your list of suspects, possible motives behind the murder, to the possible motives behind the murder. You notice that with each revelation, she becomes more uneasy. The idea of someone framing her must be stressing her out.
I see. You've certainly been very thorough.
Yes, but I still have no concrete evidence that points to anyone.
We underestimated him. If he reveals these findings to Prince Aster, he might suspect something.
So, y'all ever wondered what it would be like if Columbo really was as dumb as he let on? Because I think we just found out. What?
Sorry, I was just deep in thought.
And you were able to catch one of those thoughts.
Beatrice, I'm sure you're aware that Prince Aster has your best interests at heart.
I know. Even though we haven't spoken for the last 5 years, I still consider him a dear friend.
Then I suppose you have no issue with me sharing these findings with him.
Of course not. This is bad. Even he wouldn't support us if he knew that I was involved.
Wait, what was that? Her thoughts just said that she was involved. Did she actually murder her father?
Is something wrong, Mr. Cuthbert? You look a little pale.
Beatrice was actually behind this? But how? She's completely blind. She couldn't have navigated through the manor and avoided the guards. No. You must be taking her thoughts out of context. That's it.
Mr. Cuthbert, perhaps you should get some rest. You look dreadfully tired.
You think very carefully about what to say next.
Now hold on just a goddamn minute.
There's one way to get a certain answer through the eye. But if you're wrong...
Beatrice, you weren't actually involved in this, were you?
Tyrion? Sorry, I got so excited I hit the button early. You see her gaze narrow in response to your question. Once again, she claps her hands together. She's clearly trying to stay calm.
Do you suspect me now, Mr. Cuthbert?
You didn't answer my question, Beatrice.
As if I'd even need to justify it with a response. But no, Mr. Cuthbert. I was not responsible for my father's murder. At least not directly. I was technically an accomplice.
An accomplice? Did she work together with someone? Girl, you are not good at hiding your thoughts. Then again, she probably doesn't know that she has to. Cuthbert?
Miss Tamora? Mommy?
Your mentor seems to have sensed the mood in the air. She raises an eyebrow at you.
Tamora, can I speak with you alone for a second?
Okay. Tamora's the killer. No!
Yeah, exactly. How do you know I look tired?
Exactly.
You're blind!
Exactly, Z. Keep that in your head.
Stick a pin in that. It's a special tool that will help us later. Ha ha!
What's wrong? Is everything okay?
Miss Timora, Beatrice, she actually did murder William Frega.
Miss Tamora's gaze narrows. Her eyes dart around the room to make sure the guards didn't overhear you. What are you talking about? How could you possibly know that?
I used the Eye of Horus on her. She conspired with someone else to orchestrate William Frega's death.
Have you told anyone else about this?
No, it's not as if they believe me anyway. You're the only other person who knows about my abilities.
Okay. Just stay quiet about this for the time being. At any rate, I need to get ready. Trial starts in half an hour.
What? You're not seriously going to defend her, are you?
Of course I am. I'm her attorney.
But she's guilty! I saw it!
Look, at this point, I don't know what you saw. Do you think I can just abandon a client minutes before a trial?
No, but...
It's not for either of us to decide who's guilty and who's not. Everyone has a right to an attorney.
She's got a point.
Our court system needs a defense attorney and a prosecutor to keep things fair.
Still a good point.
More importantly, you had no right to use the Eye of Horus on my client without my permission.
What?
I don't have time to argue about this. We will be talking about this later. You are so grounded, young man.
Oh, man!
Before you have a chance to respond, Miss Tamora walks away. Celeste sees both of you and awkwardly approaches you. Cry me a river, Tamora. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he can turn it off.
Yeah. That was established as early as case 1. He can't turn it off even when he wants to.
Hey, Tyrion? Is everything okay?
Be careful with those words, Miss Tamora, in case, say, the case loses its prosecutor.
Celeste, I think Beatrice was actually behind this.
What? You don't blame her for not believing you. It's not as if you can tell her about the Eye of Horus. Why the heck not?
I mean, she's in it with you this deep already. You might as well.
Yeah, she already knows the rest of your tragic backstory.
She already slept with you.
Not
in
like
the
that.
most literal sense of the term.
Although, why haven't you told her?
You can't see both of us doing the...
We both just gesture dramatically at the screen with both hands.
Maybe we should be doing this with face cam.
Alright, I believe you.
Thoughts for later. What?
You wouldn't say something like that if you weren't sure, right? But if what you're saying is true, what do we do now?
3 of us. We appreciate the solidarity, see?
Oh.
You think long and hard for a moment.
I don't think we need to do anything.
What?
Steelwind is handling the prosecution, and she's definitely no pushover. If Beatrice is truly guilty, I'll just have to trust her to get the job done. Either way, I don't think we're in any position to get involved.
Alright, if you say so.
And that, boys and girls, is what we call dramatic irony. It's really none of your business. You have no stake in this. You're not obligated to do anything. You've done everything you can. It's in their hands now. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. This isn't your fight. William Frega was a tyrant and a bigot anyway. He's a noble who did nothing but steal wealth from the common folk. The world is better off without him. And it's not as if you didn't try. All you have to do is wait for the trial to run its course. There we go. Crunchy objection.
Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Cuthbert!
Cuthbert? What the hell are you doing?
I don't know. But what I do know is that there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Frega's testimony.
Who are you kidding? As if you were ever the type of person to stand by and do nothing.
I mean, he's a hero and an idiot.
We will save our progress and press on.
Your Honor, the defense... the prosecution...
Sorry, we're not used to this.
I would like the right to cross-examine the witness.
Thank you.
Bailiff, please arrest Mr. Cuthbert. I'm holding him in contempt of court.
Should have seen it coming.
Oh boy, I've been waiting for a long time to take you to the Touch Cave. For touching? Wait!
You didn't really think this through, did you?
No, not really.
Instead of following his orders, the bailiff walks over to the judge's podium and whispers something into his ear.
Not for nothing, but we're a bit short one prosecutor. Oh, what? I see. Very well, then.
So you remember how Aria had that deep discussion with us about what we would do if we found out one of our clients was guilty?
And remember how she had Nightgrave whisper something to the bailiff on the way out?
What are they saying?
It appears that Miss Steelwind had somehow predicted that this would happen.
Almost like when you get a terrible wound, you anticipate the possibility of collapsing.
What a concept. In accordance with her wishes, Mr. Cuthbert may act as the prosecutor in her stead.
Thanks, Aria. You're a doll.
Ain't she just?
What the hell? You can't be serious.
I'm honestly just as surprised as you are, Miss Demora. But Miss Steelwind has apparently designated him as her stand-in. It's unorthodox, but it's also legal.
Big shrug emojis. You recall something strange Steelwind asked you earlier today. So, what would you do if one of your clients was guilty? I know this goober well at this point, and I'm currently dying. Of course I guessed this would happen.
I mean... I suppose I'd withdraw and tell them to find another lawyer.
And if no one else would represent them?
I don't know. It would definitely be a hard choice for me. But I would never be able to represent them if I knew the truth. I just can't stand by and let a murderer escape justice.
I see. We might make a prosecutor of him yet. Steelwind, did she somehow know this would happen?
Well, this isn't how I expected the trial to go.
Shortly after you barged onto the prosecutor's table, Celeste awkwardly followed behind you.
Oh boy. Things are
Curious.
about to get silly.
Curiously, she only did so after the bailiff didn't arrest you. Well, yeah, so she'd be available to bail you out if needed.
Valid point.
I guess we're really doing this.
What's wrong?
This feels weird. We're on the other side of the courtroom.
I mean, this is where the prosecutor is supposed to stand.
No, this feels way too jarring. Ruby, can we switch tables?
It's where it all lasts. See, it's not going to be here for long.
I have no idea how to be a prosecutor. Help!
I think she does.
What?
Ignore her.
No, this is way too weird. Tyrion, get her to switch with us.
Scout Lord Celeste.
For the love of... I genuinely do not care. Cuthbert can have this side if he wants it so badly.
Yeah. That out of the way. Let's resume proceedings.
Just switching sides like it's a freaking intramural volleyball game. And now we're gonna play on the blue side of the court.
Assuming that we're all at our preferred spot. Perhaps somebody would like to take my podium. We are, Your Honor.
As much as you hate to admit it, you are more comfortable here. Not that you want to encourage her. Judge is so done with this case already.
Well, with all of these interruptions, I think it best to review the proceedings up until now.
Yes, please.
Prosecution proposed that Beatrice Frega's motive for the murder was to claim the victim's inheritance.
I think Tyrion did want to stay on the prosecutor's side.
I don't think he really cared that much. However, the defense brought forth a witness who testified that Beatrice was disinherited by her father 5 years ago. Am I correct, Ms. Timora?
You are, Your Honor.
Very well. Considering the circumstances, I think it's best to have Lady Frega repeat her testimony. Bailiff, please escort Lady Frega to the stand once more.
Boy, oh boy, I'm having a busy day today. Maybe I should ask for a raise.
Miss Frega, could you please give your testimony to the court once more?
Of course.
A little bit less cheerful.
Of course. One day, we all woke up and discovered that Beatrice had fled from our home. She left a note for us, and in it she renounced her name and denounced my father. My father later called me and my sister into his study. He told us that he completely disowned Beatrice and removed any claim she had to the Frega estate. It was probably a threat to us, in case we ever chose to go down the same path she did. He wanted to make an example out of her. This all happened 5 years ago.
Oh boy, 2 cheese sandwiches. Fire fest all over again.
Sorry. So your father disinherited Beatrice shortly after her departure.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
As such, Beatrice would have no motive to murder her father.
Didn't she?
Any inheritance she could have received would be long gone by the night of the murder.
Would it be?
Is that really true, though?
Fine, step on my foot. So...
Oh, whoops. Wrong line. Boop. Boop. Scroll.
I don't even think you needed to scroll.
Objection.
Miss Frega, it's clear that you're regretful of how your eldest sister was treated. That guilt must have eaten at sorry. That guilt must have eaten at you for all these years.
Cuthbert, I know you don't have a good history with the witness, but you shouldn't rub salt in her wounds.
I was merely pointing out the witness's personal connection to the defendant, Miss Timora. She clearly regrets not standing up for her sister all those years ago. So, perhaps she's trying to make up for that. By lying to protect her.
Excuse me? I did nothing of the sort.
Miss Frega, you testified that your father disinherited Beatrice 5 years ago. However, I have testimony from another witness who spoke to the victim on the night of the murder. On the night of the murder? The night of the murder. It's been a long week. After Beatrice's meeting with William Frega, he openly declared that he would be removing her from his will. He even entered his study to draft a new will to reflect that decision. So that raises the following question. Why would the victim need to declare that he was disinheriting the defendant? It doesn't make sense if he had already disinherited her 5 years ago.
Is that so? Oh, well, who did you hear this from? It's clear that they had no understanding of my father's estate.
Well, that would be rather interesting. They had no understanding? Miriam, this testimony came directly from your sister, Life of Frega.
What?
And she should have also been present during this alleged meeting 5 years ago.
Well, she must be mistaken then.
Objection.
Your Honor, how can we trust second-hand testimony from a witness who isn't here? Wouldn't it make more sense to have Laifa give her testimony directly?
Well, now that you mention it. I must agree with you, Miss Timora. Life of Frega should be allowed to clear up this misunderstanding.
She looks way too confident. What is she planning?
Bullshit.
You're not sure if it was intentional, but Miriam's testimony was false. Could she be lying to protect Beatrice? And if so, is Miss Timora expecting Laifa to do the same?
Bailiff, please escort Life of Frega to the stand.
I'm gonna need a third cheese sandwich.
Miss Frega, when we spoke earlier, you mentioned that your father decided to disinherit Beatrice. And he decided this after their meeting on the night of the murder. Is that correct?
Yes, I did say that. You see, Laifa, Cuthbert doubts the testimony given by your younger sister. He seems to think that she's committed perjury. What?
I wouldn't go so far as to say.
Witness, lying under oath is a serious crime. It would have harsh consequences, even for someone of your sister's status. No, she couldn't have.
Oh, man.
Wonderful. Are you saying that you can corroborate your sister's testimony?
Ms. Timora, you can't just intimidate the witness.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Cuthbert. I'm just telling the witness what may or may not happen, depending on what she does next. The choice is ultimately hers.
That's intimidation.
So, Laifa, assuming Miriam wasn't lying under oath, could you please testify to the court to confirm what your sister said? Yes, of course. You see, Miriam was quite young when my father called us into his study 5 years ago. She didn't understand what he was really doing. My father would often lie to us. It was one of the many ways that he kept us in line.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's very obviously intimidation.
Yeah.
What the hell was the judge doing?
Yeah, basically threatening to charge Miriam with perjury if Laifa doesn't back her up.
And by the way, threatening a member of a noble house, a pillar family, nonetheless, in this justice system which is designed to protect people in power.
The encounter that Miriam described was just another one of his lies. Despite their disagreements, my father would never disinherit Beatrice without a good reason. He always held on to the possibility that she would become desperate enough to return home. The truth is that none of us knew what my father was planning for House Frega's future. See, Cuthbert, the truth is much more complicated.
More than you know.
No one could have really known what William Frega was planning for his estate. Laifa is definitely trying to cover for Miriam, and Miss Timora is playing her like a fiddle. Luckily for you, she's not the only person that gave her statement to you. Let me look at the evidence I have real fast.
I don't know as we've got anything on that, but
Yeah,
we do have that.
obviously Leifa knew what was going on in the estate if she was resisting the arranged marriage.
Mm-hmm. Which means
Boop. Boop.
easy
Objection.
peasy. Ms. Frega, did you really have no idea about House Frega's future?
To be fair, Leifa is pretty soft-spoken for a noble. If there was anyone Ruby could successfully intimidate, it would be her.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I didn't. My father made sure of that. As I told you, he kept many secrets and wasn't above lying to manipulate us.
But with Beatrice gone, you would have been the one to inherit your father's estate. Would you really be ignorant of your father's plans for House Frega? Unfortunately for you, I don't think you'd be that careless. In fact, I have it on good authority that you knew exactly how William's inheritance would be divided before that night.
What?
Leifa, according to Lloyd von Sanctus, you were arranged into a diplomatic marriage with his son. You expressed resistance to this arrangement, am I correct?
I have no reason to comment on that matter.
Pleading the fifth, I see.
Cuthbert, the witness's personal matters are hardly any of our business.
Yes, I must ask that you keep this discussion relevant to the case. Your Honor, Leifa's resistance to this marriage is exactly how I know that her testimony is false. She was extremely averse to this marriage, and because of that, she made sure to know every detail about how it would affect her and her house. And that includes how House Frega would be inherited by her future husband. So that raises the question, Leifa. If you already knew the intricate details of this marriage, why would your father tell you that he was disinheriting your sister? That statement would only make sense if Beatrice was already in his will beforehand. That would render Miriam's testimony false and constitute a motive for the defendant.
Objection.
Again? You present a decent argument, Cuthbert, but your claims rely on one assumption.
And what assumption would that be, Ms. Timora? Even if he was lying, the victim declared that he was revoking Beatrice's inheritance. She must have already been named in the will previously. Otherwise, there would have been no need for him to say that. It wouldn't make any sense otherwise.
And that's where your assumption is. You're assuming that William Frega was acting logically.
What are you talking about?
It's clear that William Frega was extremely controlling of his daughters. By your own admission, Leifa Frega was resistant to the marriage arranged by her father. In addition to that, a few months ago, Miriam Frega found herself wrapped in controversy regarding the Nightgrave trial. And finally, to make matters worse, Beatrice Frega, the prodigal child, finally returned and made a public appearance during the Lord's Ball. What are you trying to insinuate? In his eyes, William Frega's ability to keep his daughters in line was clearly weakening. He must have gotten desperate and made a grand declaration in a feeble attempt to scare you, Leifa. Even if that declaration was clearly inconsistent. But he wouldn't. Your ability to remember must be muddled by the shock of your father's death. His statement couldn't have possibly been true. If by some chance it were true, that would make you guilty of perjury. Or perhaps it was Miriam that was lying in her testimony. If your father's statement were true, the court might be inclined to investigate her for lying on the stand.
Objection? Intimidation? Hello?
Anybody? Tyrion?
Can I please get a waffle? Wait, no, wrong thing. Miss Timora, are you threatening her?
As I said before, I am merely stating the facts. The witness is free to act as she sees fit. I'm just asking her to consider the potential consequences of what she says next.
That is literally the definition of a threat.
What do I do?
Damn it. She's pressuring Leifa to side with her. She's clearly conflicted, though. Isn't there anything you can do? You feel a sense of clarity when you look at her.
Listen, my job literally only consists of taking people to the stand, making sure nobody dies in the courtroom, and occasionally taking people to my touch cave. For touching.
Ifrit, keep that thought in your head. Is the Eye of Horus reacting to her stress? You wonder. I'm sorry. I need time to think. Please don't stare at me like that, Mr. Cuthbert. Oh. Wait a minute. No! Wait! It's too late. Empowered Eye, baby! You did it. You activated the Empowered Eye. There has to be something in her mind that you can use.
No, wait!
The state of her father's inheritance is the backbone of your case. Is there anything in her mind that can definitively prove what was on his will?
I think it was, yes.
Yeah, she has certainly been referred to as the dog of the Eye Taker.
Oh, yeah.
That was as early as case 1. That was why Orem hated her so much.
Right. Good remembered.
Project the inheritance?
Worth a shot.
As much as I hate to admit it, this trial is a perfect opportunity to back out of the arranged marriage. Von Sanctus' holdings are weakening by the day. I doubt he'll be able to put up much resistance. And once Beatrice inherits the estate, we might be able to rebuild our family. She's assuming that Beatrice will inherit House Frega. That confidence must mean that she's certain of what was in William's will. But how do you prove that? The marriage? Okay.
Maybe make her think about her sister.
That is a good thought. Boop and boop.
Beatrice, after all these years, you finally returned. I can't believe that this is how things have ended up. If only I was as strong as you, I'd be able to endure this.
Didn't get any leads in that. You should try something else. I need to make sure that I tell the truth without harming Miriam or Beatrice.
Beatrice couldn't have possibly done this, and I'm sure Miriam also has her reasons. They couldn't rely on me back then, but they can now.
Okay, this is all very sweet and touching, but it's not giving me the answers that I need.
Have you considered scrolling down?
I have.
Never mind, there's nothing of use here.
Sword?
Although...
How did both of the swords find their way into Beatrice's room? Could Tracker have...
Spoilers!
No. Miss McCoy's sword is one thing, but he couldn't have possibly broken into the Heraldson Gallery. Although, he was extremely fixated on it.
What? Does she know how Celeste's sword was taken? As much as you want to follow that lead, it'll be all for nothing if you can't turn the trial in your favor. You should try something else. But we'll keep that in our back pocket for later.
Indeed.
Your father?
Father, I know we had our differences, but I did love you. I never wanted you to die.
She seems genuinely surprised and regretful about his death.
Well, at least she wasn't in on it.
From your encounter earlier, you know that Beatrice had an accomplice, but you doubt that it was Laifa. Good, that helped.
So perhaps...
Miriam?
Perhaps.
Why would Miriam say those things? Am I misremembering what happened? No, I could have remembered something like that. She must be trying to protect Beatrice.
So Miriam's testimony was a conscious lie. Beatrice's inheritance wasn't revoked until the night of the murder. Okay.
The pieces are fitting together.
What do you think about
Again.
Eiffel Tower? What do you think about Ruby?
I don't think you're gonna get...
Ruby,
You got something. Okay, well.
Ruby Tamora. I've heard stories about her. I never expected Beatrice to hire someone like her. I wonder if she'll be at the will reading tomorrow.
The will reading? She must be talking about William Frega's will.
Son of an
There
ass!
we are.
I can't believe that worked.
I believe you've had enough time for deliberation, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you able to prove the defendant's motive or not?
I'm not, Your Honor. At least, not yet. It's clear we won't get anywhere until we can confirm the state of William Frega's will. And we can easily confirm that tomorrow morning, when William Frega's will is read to his family.
How did you...
I see. Once this will is read, it will become public record. I suppose I have no choice but to suspend this trial until such time that William Frega's will is read.
Objection.
No, fuck you.
This is ludicrous. The case against my client is completely outrageous. We've spent the entire court proceedings arguing if her motive even exists. The prosecution has very little evidence that physically implicates my client.
Miss Timora, you clearly don't believe that the defendant had anything to do with the murder.
Of course I don't. She's completely innocent.
Well, if your client didn't murder the victim, who did?
I bet Tyrion loves that he gets to pull this shit for once. It's not, I don't have to prove everything. It's on you.
Until it is on him.
You sneaky.
Your Honor, with no other suspects, are you in a position to pass a verdict?
No, I am not. Mr. Cuthbert is correct. The court does not have enough information to pass a verdict.
I sure love not having to prove who did it.
Until the Inquisition has had time to investigate these new developments, I will be suspending today's trial and taking my medication. We will resume the trial tomorrow afternoon. Court is adjourned.
Bonk.
Holding pattern.
Well, that happened.
Yes, it did. Sorry, I kind of acted without thinking.
But out of everything that happened today, I can't believe that Steelwind somehow knew you would do that.
Love it for these writers. So fun to have that reversal.
Right. That is strange. Did she seriously predict what I'd do off of that one conversation?
You're very predictable, Tyrion Cuthbert. Well, some of the time. With regards to very specific things. Considering how things turned out, you suppose she was right on the mark. That was still a big leap of faith.
At any rate, we have some time to ourselves. I'd very much like to catch up on some sleep.
Yeah, today's been exhausting. For a lot of reasons.
And your work has only started. You still have no idea who Beatrice's accomplice was. The will reading was just an opportunity to stall for time. So the question remains, who really murdered William Frega?
Oh, I'm sure she does, see? I'm sure she does.
I'm sure Miss Tamora has many opinions on Tyrion Cuthbert right now, very few of them favorable. What the hell was that? Why is your son filling in for Aria?
Deeper.
Oh, apologies? Listen, I have the situation under control.
If that's true, I'd hate to see a situation you consider out of control.
Eris?
My father is not pleased with today's developments.
Well, that's too damn bad!
You promised that the verdict would be passed before William Frega's will became public record. This has thrown quite the wrench in our plans.
I understand. Cuthbert is just confused, but he's not a threat to us.
We'd better hope you wait, Tamora. Or else your poor ward might suffer the same fate as Prosecutor Steelwind.
A bit of stabby-stabby and then a perfectly safe convalescence.
What? House Frega is too important of a prize for us to let go. Bring us results, Tamora, or else we'll continue to take more drastic measures.
This is getting so juicy.
Oh, I like this steak.
Why am I like this?
For the first time since the Lord's Ball, you're finally able to get some sleep. You woke this morning refreshed, but also a little anxious about the results of the will reading. But it was before 3 p.m. this time! You arrive back at Frega Manor and see that Beatrice, Leifa, Miriam, and Von Sanctus have all gathered. And that guy is still edited out of the painting. Don't think I don't remember that shit, Eris. Along with Miss Tamora, who is accompanying Beatrice as her attorney. You're not really sure what to say to her after everything you've done. Probably best to just not talk to her, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
The air still feels too awkward to approach her and talk about it.
As the executor of Mr. Muldoon's estate, I was empowered to read Mr. Muldoon's last will and testament. I'm keeping the voice.
We can't go through the whole boot to the head bit.
Thank you all for coming here today. As William Frega's close associate, I must express my deepest condolences for your loss.
Well, would you get on with it? The bar is open soon.
I think I speak for all Wyvern when I say...
Enough, just get on with it.
Thank you. Very well then. To get straight to the point, Lord Frega's will was magically sealed when it was given to me. He asked me, his executor, not to submit it to the court for probate until after his death. Although I imagine none of us expected such a time to come so unexpectedly.
Hello, I am generic executor number 17. And I will be your host this evening.
To my eldest daughter, Beatrice Frega, I leave a boot to the head. Lord Frega's assets included sole ownership of several banking houses throughout Wyvern, 10 million gold in various investments.
Million?
10 million gold. Can't even begin to imagine what anyone could do with even a fraction of that wealth.
And lastly, sole control and ownership of the Frega noble house.
The executor takes out a large envelope and uses a runestone to dispel the magical seal on it.
And a boot to the head. I, William Frega, being of sound mind and body,
That's a laugh!
do hereby declare this to be my last will and testament. I hereby give, devise, and bequeath all my assets and property, both real and personal, to Jaden Von Sanctus. Provided that he enters into a legal and binding engagement with my daughter, Leifa Frega, within 6 months of the date of my death.
What? That's...
Yeah. William must have added that addendum to prevent Von Sanctus from trying to steal his empire. But a legal and binding engagement is predicated on Leifa accepting it. She clearly doesn't want to go through with it, so if she simply waited 6 months, Von Sanctus wouldn't have any claim to the estate.
In the event that Jaden Von Sanctus does not enter into such an engagement within the specified time frame, my assets and property shall be distributed as follows. All of House Frega will be divided equally among my children as per the laws of our kingdom. And to my lawyer who helped draft this will, I leave not a boot to the head, but a rabid Tasmanian devil to be placed in his trousers.
You were right. William Frega never disinherited Beatrice. This would make Miriam's testimony false. If anyone watching this later does not understand what we are referencing, the name of the skit is Boot to the Head.
By the Frantics, there was an excellent... someone did an excellent machinima of it with Phoenix Wright characters. When I say a while back, I mean this is like early days of YouTube.
It's double digits years ago.
It's 2005.
Yeah, so...
And still on YouTube, to its credit.
Very fun.
You might be surprised just who was involved with creating it.
And since Beatrice would receive a portion of William's inheritance, she had a motive to commit the murder. You glance at Miriam. It's hard to read her expression, but something appears to be on her mind. Without a word, she walks out of the room, ignoring both Beatrice and Leifa. Leifa, on the other hand, seems to be in good spirits.
Why do we get smile?
She's so cute!
That skin is old enough to vote now. Oh God, I'm old.
Vote.
I mean, the skin itself is a little old enough to vote for a while. Boot to the Head was like a 90s thing.
Boot to the Head 2024.
Right? It's a super cute smile!
Isn't this great, Beatrice? You can lead House Frega now, just as it should have been.
Actually, about that, in light of recent events, I believe I should clarify one thing. As per the Slayer rule, if Beatrice Frega is found guilty in the current court case, her inheritance will be revoked and divided between you and your sister. And she will be given a conciliatory boot to the head.
I see. I shouldn't feel so happy for myself.
That can't be all, can it?
There is one more thing.
Surely William added a note of life's obligation to marry my son.
I'm not sure what you're trying to imply, but he did leave House Von Sanctus a lifetime supply of ice cream.
What flavor is it?
Boot to the head.
The hungry dragon to the trousers.
Thank you for clarifying about the dropped keyboard Ifrit. I wondered what secret message was supposed to be contained in those numbers.
Doing no math on the stream, young man.
Leifa Frega is an adult with legal autonomy. She is free to make whatever decision she wishes about who she legally marries. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Wait, we're not finished yet. Come back here.
I'd love to catch up with you, Leifa, but I was only allowed out of my cell to attend the reading.
Is that better? I think that was a little closer. You notice an Inquisition Knight outside the door. He seems to be watching Beatrice intently. It's very difficult to keep bouncing between all my different female voices and remembering which one went to everyone.
I've never had that much trouble with it.
But don't
For
worry.
example, greetings, Professor. Nothing to report.
But don't worry. I'm sure once this misunderstanding is resolved, we can talk all we want about our family's future. Of course.
Oh, do we really gotta find her guilty? Look how happy your sister is.
A group of knights lead Beatrice out of the manor, and Leifa follows after them. Leaving you and Celeste alone with Ms. Tamora.
Awkward.
Oh, we are so boned.
About what I did.
Look, I'm not angry, Cuthbert.
Oh no, she's just disappointed. Oh,
It was an extremely unforeseen situation, and Steelwind clearly put you on the spot.
by almost dying.
You felt pressured to do something, and you made a rash decision. But I'm sure the court will understand if you withdraw.
Wait, what?
Cuthbert, you're not a prosecutor. You know that, right? Didn't you become an attorney to defend persecuted mages?
But Beatrice is guilty. I saw it.
I'm not going to argue about this again. You
Sorry,
are
Mom.
going to withdraw. This is not up for discussion. I mean,
Sorry, just popping back in to remind you good folks the whole, adult autonomy thing. Have a nice day.
I was about to say, Tyrion Cuthbert is a legal adult.
Oops,
Well,
head.
you've always regarded and respected Miss Tamora, and you suppose that's always made you deeply scared of disappointing her. Perhaps she's right. She knows more about what's going on than you do, and she's still your mentor.
And she has a deeply intimidating mommy glare.
You want to believe that. You really do. But deep down, you know that this is wrong. Miss Tamora may believe in Beatrice's innocence, but you can't just abandon this case and let her escape justice. Your hands are trembling. Why are you so scared right now?
Because, Mommy,
You know what you have to say, but the words won't leave your mouth. From behind you, you feel Celeste hold your trembling hand. They're too cute, stop it!
chip, 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 chip.
It's warm and comforting. It's that same sensation you felt back then. Somehow, you can feel it through her hand. It's as if she's silently telling you that you know what you have to do. Your anxiety fades, and you take a deep breath.
I'm not going to do that, Ms. Tamora.
What?
You said it yourself. Our court system needs a defense attorney and a prosecutor of equal power to keep things fair.
That's not what
I'm not going to withdraw.
I'll
If you
help,
believe in Beatrice's innocence, and if you truly believe you're on the right side,
I'll help you I'll help you face your spooky mommy.
that is deeply disturbing, thank you. And prove it by beating me.
Fine. Do what you want.
The pirate is free?
But you're only going to make things harder for everyone.
You are a pirate!
Tyrion?
As soon as Miss Tamora steps out of the room, your body drops to the floor. Mood. Whatever bravery you felt before got replaced with an extreme amount of fatigue. That's adrenaline, baby!
Good lord. That's the first time I've ever spoken to her like that.
But you still did it.
You stood your ground! I'm not saying that in Celeste. No! I refuse!
Figuratively, I mean. Right now, you're kind of just sitting on the floor.
Yeah, I need to take a moment. We go back to the ballroom.
Yeah, let's.
Just kind of, I can't move. My legs are not responding. So if you could just drag me.
You return to the ballroom and take a moment to recover. You spot Commander White at the edge of the room, but you don't pay him much notice. You're in charge of him for the rest of this. You're the prosecutor, you gotta tell him what to do.
Speaking of awkward,
Takes you a while before you feel ready to stand. Ruby being like, I can fix him, Celeste being like, I can make him worse. I think it's the other way around.
I don't know what it is anymore.
You okay?
Yeah, I just needed a moment. Well, the will reading brought us a few more hours. The will reading bought us a few more hours to investigate the murder. We should take advantage of the new information we just learned.
So, where should we start first?
Speaking of things Tyrion Cuthbert is not used to. Right. You're the prosecutor now. So that would technically make you his boss for the time being.
Get me an apple juice.
This is weird, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Awkwardness aside, I never really led a task force before. What would Steelwood normally do in this situation?
Well, she'd normally have us investigate areas of interest.
If either makes the other worse, I think Tyrion's making Celeste worse. I don't know about that.
The context of the investigation tends to change after each round of court proceedings. Well, we're lacking a lot of physical evidence. Would you and the Inquisition search the gallery in Beatrice's room? Perhaps you can find evidence of how the Sword of Spell Eating was stolen.
Whatever you say, boss.
That covers the Inquisition. But what are we going to do?
Panic! It's clear that Lord Frega's inheritance plays a large role in this case. Even if it's not valid, we should take a look at the modified will that he was drafting. It might give us some insight about what he was really planning to do with his inheritance.
Okay, so let's go to his study and take a look for that.
Come on, where is it?
As you enter William Frega's study, you spot a figure rummaging through the drawers in his desk.
Why isn't it here? Where else would he put it? Miriam? What?
As soon as she notices you, Miriam quickly closes the drawers and walks towards you. But you already saw what she was doing. She was definitely looking for something.
Three guesses what? First two don't count.
This is a crime scene. What are you doing here, Miriam?
As if that's any of your business.
Also, she lives here. Considering that I'm the prosecutor, it's very much my business.
You give a side glance to the knights stationed outside the room. They should have stopped her from entering, but perhaps she used her status to intimidate them into letting her through. However, this could be a blessing in disguise. She was clearly looking for something in this room, and you have a feeling you know what it is. Let's have a chat.
You appear to be looking for something, Miriam. What could be so important that you disturb an active crime scene?
It's none of your concern. I'm merely trying to find something that belongs to me.
Lose your sword again? Really? Because I have a feeling that we might be looking for the same thing. You're looking for the will that your father was drafting, aren't you?
That's... Were you trying to destroy it before we could get to it? No, of course not. I just needed to see it for myself. Did she really do this?
Oh? Is she also suspicious of Beatrice?
Why are you so determined to see the drafted will, Miss Frega?
I just wanted to see what my father's final wishes were. But your father already had a will filed previously. Wouldn't that be enough?
You also suspect something, don't you?
Of course not! Beatrice would never do something like this!
Miss Frega, I never even mentioned Beatrice. I know how things may look, but please understand. I'm just trying to get to the truth. I don't think your sister did this, but she may have been involved. She may have worked with someone else to orchestrate her father's death.
Unlike Leifa, she didn't immediately deny it. This means that she already had her own suspicions. You're a smart girl, Miriam.
Where's the will, Miriam? I need to see it.
I don't know. I haven't been able to find it.
You recall that she was frantically searching William's desk earlier. She's probably telling the truth.
It should have been here, but I can't find it.
He locked the door when he began drafting it. In addition to that, the Inquisition closed the area off after the body was discovered. That means that someone took it during the lockdown.
William's modified will. On the night of the murder, William Frega retreated into his study to modify his will. He did this before the will could be submitted, so it's not valid. The draft was supposedly stolen during the lockdown. It's likely that the murderer took and or destroyed it.
It was probably stolen by whoever murdered him, right?
Yeah, that would make the most sense. Which means that whoever did this wanted to nullify whatever was written on it.
It's looking more and more like the motive behind this was William's inheritance.
Well, it looks like we won't be able to find the will. The fact that it was taken must imply something. For now, we should follow our other leads. There's also the question of who committed the murder and how.
Don't we already know the how? The murderer stole the sword of spell eating and used it to break into the study.
That's true, but think about how they would have needed to move around the manor. The murder took place on the first floor, within William Frega's study. Yes, Boop. But the gallery was on the second floor. Again, Boop. They would have needed to go upstairs, steal the sword from the gallery, and then use it to nullify the lock on the study. Not only that, they would have needed to go back upstairs and plant the sword in Beatrice's room.
About that, if someone conspired with Beatrice to do this, why would they plant the sword in her room?
That's a good point. Perhaps they had a falling out. Her partner might have tried to betray her by pinning the blame on her.
But if that were true, why wouldn't she just sell them out and make a deal with Steelwind? It would be because of the Slayer rule. Slayer rule! I remember the guy at the will reading also mentioned that. What is it? It was a law passed by the Crown centuries ago. According to that law, if someone is involved in another person's death, even accidentally, they will not be allowed to inherit the deceased property.
So even if Beatrice wasn't directly responsible, she'd lose her cut of the inheritance if she took a plea deal.
More importantly, it doesn't sound like Miriam completely believes in Beatrice's innocence either. If that's true, what else can she do?
Yeah. Be a hell of a thing to just...
This might go a little late tonight, but there's one particular part
that we really must get to.
yeah, that we really need to get to.
Miriam, it almost sounds like you suspect Beatrice as well.
That's...
Am I incorrect?
I don't know what to think anymore. Why else would she threaten me?
You what?
Wait, she was threatened?
Miriam, did Beatrice threaten you in some way?
What? Of course not!
Your testimony yesterday was quite convenient for the defense. It almost got the whole case thrown out. Life didn't seem to understand what was going on either. With the way she gave her testimony yesterday, it almost sounded like she was covering for you.
Gee, I wonder who would do such a thing.
Ruby!
Does he seriously not know?
I seriously do not know.
Please, promise me that you won't tell anyone about this.
I won't tell anyone. What happened?
About an hour after the murder, I was approached by Ruby Tamora.
Well, there it is.
She gave me a list of statements to give in my testimony. The statements weren't true, but she assured me that my status would protect me from any scrutiny.
What?
She had information that I had tried to keep secret, and she threatened to make it public unless I cooperated with her.
No. No, she would never do that.
I'm telling the truth. Please, you can't tell Tamora that I told you. She'll ruin me.
The eye shows that her fear is genuine. She's not lying.
I've seen that woman do all kinds of shady shit in the cases I've...
All the way back to case 1, baby!
Yep.
I was threatened by... Letter opener flies through the door and kills her.
You know, I'm only half surprised that didn't happen. Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you name it. I'll bet you're just the same. Successor for the Devil of Defense Attorney.
The rumors.
Can't be true.
You refuse to believe it.
Hey, Tyrion? Are you okay?
Now is not the time to doubt yourself. There's too much at stake right now, and you have a job to do.
We should check in on Commander White. He might have found something.
Okay. Just don't push yourself, okay?
Yeah.
You'll have plenty of time to think about this later.
Celeste is such a good bean!
Okay. We asked her everything we can. The bedroom. Move. Is this the part? You enter Beatrice's bedroom and see the Inquisition combing through it. It looks like their search is focused under her bed.
Oh, hey,
Commander?
we're still doing a deep dive. We're not done yet. Probably come back later. Go sit down.
Okay. I guess we go to the sitting room?
Well, that was my implication, yes.
As you move around the manor, you peek into the sitting room to see if Von Sanctus is still there.
Oh boy, here we go.
You don't see him there, but you spot another individual. Hi! I think I know who you are. He's calmly reading some sort of book, but you can feel a menacing aura emanating from him. I forgot about this guy. Fear? Anxiety.
Sora. You must be daft if you think I wouldn't notice your presence.
Sir? What? Did he notice you? You barely entered the room.
Don't suppose you noticed that bit of music there? And how it might sound a bit familiar to somebody else's theme?
Mm-hmm. Oh, before you have a chance to respond, the man pulls out his great axe and rushes towards you.
Oh shit, roll initiative! Oh, wait,
You bring up your arms to block his blow, but in hindsight, that probably won't do much against an axe that large.
Sir, this is McDonald's.
Protagus!
You open your eyes. Celeste is now standing between you and the axe-wielding maniac.
Yeah, girl!
You're not sure what happened, but it looks like she knocked him several feet backward.
Oh, it's you two.
What the hell was that? You could have killed him!
He shouldn't have snuck up on me like that. I almost cleaved him in two.
Tyrion didn't do anything wrong. Who the hell do you think you are?
Funny you should ask that.
I am Lord Lucio Steelwood, Grand General of the Wyvern military forces.
Hi!
I.
This is Aria's dad.
Yes, I am.
So this is Prosecutor Steelwind's father. They do share the same intimidating stare.
Well, kind of.
Although, he's not the most menacing person in the room right now.
Nope.
Celeste, it's fine. I'm not hurt.
She looks more than irate right now, but she begrudgingly sheathes her sword. At any rate, Lord Steelwind... Oh, so he doesn't say the shit.
Well, now, we didn't say that.
We don't know his status.
In fact, I'm fairly certain he's a widower.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've never heard Aria's mom mentioned.
Actually, I think I remember now. He is a widower. But we'll get to that later.
At any rate, Lord Steelwind was one of the people with a motive to murder William Frega. And as a fellow head of a pillar house, he might have some information about William and his affairs. Also, it might be nice to ask how Aria's doing. Is she okay? I'm checking in on Aria first.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry about what happened to your daughter. I'm sure that you're very worried.
It's her own fault for exerting herself despite her injuries.
That's not what the eye tells me.
Even the bravest warrior knows when to stay off the battlefield.
How can you say that? Your daughter was trying to do the right thing.
Celeste, back off.
By prosecuting the heiress of House Frega, She had very little evidence to She had very little evidence to substantiate a conviction. If she wanted to strike a blow on a rival house, she should have been certain that her enemy would fall. But now, if Beatrice Frega is found innocent, any hopes of an alliance between House Frega and House Steelwind will be completely annihilated.
It's clear that he and the prosecutor have vastly different priorities.
Oh, she angry. Oh, she's so angry.
If looks could kill.
Slay me, mommy.
McCoy, one might misinterpret that look of yours as murderous intent.
Aw, guess you do have some battle instincts after all.
The sass!
I honestly wasn't sure, since you so obviously have a silver spoon stuck up your
Sass! Celeste!
Such lack of respect and discipline. If you were one of my soldiers, I'd have you hung.
If I was one of your soldiers, I'd hang myself.
Jesus Christ!
Damn, girl!
Okay, let's all try to stay civil here. Lord Steelwind, you were here at the Lord's Ball when the murder occurred. Am I correct?
I was.
Do you mind if I ask you some questions about what you saw that night? If that's okay with you.
I suppose I must oblige, considering that my daughter has so unceremoniously thrust her responsibilities onto you.
Appreciate it, sir.
So magnanimous. Where were you throughout the night, Lord Steelwind?
I so loathe gatherings like that. They're a complete waste of time.
Seconded.
Yeah, kinda. Well, sometimes the dancing's nice.
I was in this room, but then I received word that Lord Frega's lost heiress had made an unexpected appearance.
I can't dance, so.
Do you think I can? Just the attempt is fun enough sometimes.
She was supposedly speaking with the Crown Prince, so I made my way to the ball.
Did you speak with them at any point?
No, I kept my distance and stayed near the King's Guard. Needed to make sure she wouldn't try anything.
Was this because you were wary of Beatrice Frega?
Yes, it was. The Crown Prince has always been a bleeding heart. And the Fregas are trained to sharpen their tongue from birth. I needed to make sure that she wouldn't try to interfere with his engagement.
You were worried that she was going to try to take Aster back.
I was. But it was clear that wasn't in her. But it's clear that wasn't her intention.
But you did overhear their conversation. What were they talking about?
Their conversation was completely inane. It was all just small talk. Lady Frega spent most of her time playing with Prince Alaric.
Right. Aster's younger brother was there too. Boop. You know that Beatrice had some role in the murder, even if she wasn't directly responsible. Did she have some unknown goal by speaking with Aster and his brother?
You went to the ballroom when you heard that Beatrice had returned. Was this before or after the lockdown?
It was before the lockdown.
That sounds about right. This means that she was accounted for before the theft was reported.
And did you see her leave at any point?
No. She spoke with the two princes for quite a while. She didn't leave their side until she was arrested for Lord Frega's murder.
What? That means she was accounted for the entire night. Beatrice's alibi updated. No. Beatrice Frega was speaking with Aster de Wyverngard and Alaric de Wyverngard during the Lord's Ball. She spent the entire night speaking with them. She was also accounted for before the Sword of Spell Eating was reported missing.
So remember how we couldn't agree on the younger prince's on the pronunciation of the younger prince's name last time?
Mm-hmm.
I think we've completely flipped pronunciations.
Oh well, you say it your way, I'll say it mine.
But I said it your way and you said it mine!
Say whichever way you want, the comments will tell us who was right.
I don't trust the... Well, actually, I do trust the comments in this one very specific case, but also it's text. How are they going to tell us which is the correct pronunciation?
The Steelwind, Aster, and several members of the King's Guard can confirm this.
But not the pronunciation of, of the king's youngest son.
Ow. But her thoughts said she was an accomplice in William's death.
What are you, voiced by Robin Williams and Blue?
No.
A shame.
I'm also not going to call him Letty. Was she there to distract the King's Guard? Very funny, Z.
Thanks. Thanks, Z. Very helpful. Thank you for answering our questions, Lord Steelwind.
I'm merely repaying my daughter's debt.
He was surprisingly pretty cooperative. But that doesn't lift any suspicion off of him just yet. You'll need to find more evidence if you want to know for sure.
Well, we should probably move somewhere else. Let's go, Celeste.
McCoy,
What?
your spellcasting is undisciplined, but your battle stance and reflexes are commendable. You have my respect as a warrior.
As if that means anything coming from you.
Good.
God, she's ballsy.
An undisciplined and defiant brat.
I like her!
Well, this is a new experience. This is a new feeling. Try it in somebody else. It's just a shame it's overshadowed by all this unyielding rage.
Okay, boss man, let's go.
Keep it at that corner. Don't let it get away.
Yes, this is the part.
Now we're getting to the fun part.
Get away from him! As you enter Beatrice's room, you see the Inquisition cornering something near the back of the room. It's some sort of animal. Wolf, to be exact. Thank you, dear.
Wait, that?
You recall spotting that same wolf on the night of the Lord's Ball. Has it been in the house since the murder?
Intruders must protect Queen.
What?
Did you just read his thoughts?
I speak dog?
Tyrion speaks dog!
Protect territory from enemies.
He must see the Inquisition as intruders in his territory. But does that mean he sees this room as his home? You slowly start to walk towards him. Wait, Tyrion!
Stay back, kid. It's a wild animal. There's no telling what it will do.
You ignore them and continue to approach him.
Don't worry. I'm not here to hurt you.
This human. You can speak language of dog?
Wait, you can understand me?
Why are you talking to it?
You're speaking plain dog. Of course Tracker understand.
This is Tracker. He's a good boy.
He's the goodest boy.
What's going on here? Is the Eye of Horus allowing you to speak with him? You've never really tried it before, but perhaps your powers aren't limited to humans. At any rate, this could be a good opportunity. You wonder what else he knows.
Time for science.
Time to interview the dog!
Here we are again. Tracker, is that your name?
How did you...
Yes, Tracker is Tracker. That's the name Queen gave to me.
Occupation, dog. Age, 3.
Gib.
Gib. What a good boy!
This is memes.
Tracker gestures to Lifa when he mentions his queen.
He called you his queen. Do you know him, Lifa?
Yes, but how?
I take it back. Now this is weird.
How are you talking to it?
That's...
You were so caught up in speaking to Tracker, you didn't realize how strange this scene must look to everyone else.
I mean, to be fair,
I'm a dog whisperer?
You've never mentioned that before.
You never asked.
You honestly expect us to believe something like that?
The Tracker says he can understand him. He told me himself.
Wait, how do you know that? So, Lifa, how are you able to communicate with Tracker?
I suppose there's no sense in hiding it anymore.
frankly, I don't know why she hid it to begin with.
The Tracker is my familiar.
Familiar. So it's the same magical bond Harold has with his monkey. His horrible, horrible monkey.
You recall that the familial bond spell allows the caster to telepathically speak with their familiar. That must be how she's speaking to him.
You never mentioned him during questioning.
It wasn't relevant to the investigation. And I've been keeping him a secret from my family.
You've been keeping a whole wolf secret from your family.
It's a big manor.
It's a big wolf.
I suppose that makes sense. I doubt William Frega would have allowed you to keep an animal in his home.
Well, I don't appreciate you keeping this info from us. But it doesn't look like anyone got hurt.
I mean, everyone in their family is mages.
Yeah.
It's kind of a prerequisite for being a noble.
Well... kinda, yeah.
And aside from this dog, we haven't really found anything new.
Damn it. They didn't find any more physical evidence of the theft.
No, but you found a new witness.
Looks like you've run into another dead end. Unless... Hi, good boy. What did you see?
Tracker, I saw you the night of the murder.
You what? Tracker!
There it is! That's the moment we've been waiting for!
The Doge face!
I'm just gonna... We just gotta wait for a sec. So I gotta see the reactions.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Roll. I keep looking back at the screen and it just makes me laugh all over again.
Tracker is the best goddamn character in this game. This exact moment, looking over Sigma's shoulder, was when I said out loud, I gotta get this fucking game.
Okay, buy it for
This was the moment. I was like, I have no choice.
come back. Hey, Fred! I love you!
No.
He's supposed to stay in this room.
Wait, that why you won't allow the servants to enter it?
I didn't want to keep him in Beatrice's room, but he was very insistent that he stay here.
Tracker likes the ambiance.
Flaps.
Dude, there's a lot to see in this world, including this!
Right. Wait, if you live in this room, did you see who brought the Sword of Spell Eating here?
I already asked him about that, but he didn't see anyone. He must have been taking a nap. Or he was outside, even though I told him not to leave.
Damn it.
Tracker see a lot of other things, though. Tracker see many new people that night.
Right. He was roaming the manor during the Lord's Ball. He must have seen a lot of new people. Wait. If he was walking around, He might have seen something that the Inquisition doesn't know about. What did Tracker see?
Can you tell us what you saw on the night of the murder, Tracker?
Would you do it for a Scooby snack?
Tracker see rats.
This may be more difficult than you thought.
I need you to be more specific. Can you go in order? Tell me about everyone that you saw that night.
Okay.
Big Doug energy.
Tracker was taking nap in room, but Tracker woke up from loud sounds outside. Tracker hears small things running in the walls.
Running in the walls?
Tracker called Queen, but she didn't answer. So Tracker decided to check sound alone.
Tracker think the way minimalist furniture choices play very well with the intricacy of the wallpaper.
Well, I mean, apart from the bed, yeah, I guess it is. I guess some of the furniture is rather minimalistic, isn't it?
Tracker follows sound outside. That's when Tracker smelled a bad smell.
Bad smell?
That's when Tracker smelled flying rat.
You smelled a flying rat? Do you mean like a pigeon?
Tracker could smell where rat was. So Tracker bork at him.
Bork!
Bork! Tracker must have scared rat, because he fell onto the floor and dropped his stick.
The rat had a stick?
Tracker could see them now, so Tracker did one final bork to scare them off. The rats were scared and went back into the walls.
It went into the walls?
That's when Tracker picked up the stick rat dropped. Queen finally answered Tracker. She told him to go back to his room and hide. After message, Tracker brings stick back to room for inspection.
Do you remember what time this encounter happened?
What time?
Oh, bean.
Bork.
Right. An animal wouldn't really have a concept of that. What did he say, Tyrion?
Fascinating things, I assure you.
Did he see anything? Well, he definitely saw something. Okay, let's try to take a moment to work through this.
Let's have one more breakdown, kids.
Tracker is an animal, and despite being able to speak with him, his use of words is very primitive. So you should carefully examine each of his statements. The first thing he heard was small things running in the walls. You recall that someone else observed something similar that night.
No, don't bring him up.
Tracker heard rats running in the vents. Let's try to make this sound not
Let's
crazy.
try to make this sound not crazy.
Oh, you would, game. You fucking would. Servants were complaining about rats running through the air vents, so they sent me to take care of it. I hate these guys so much! I heard one of them running in the vents upstairs, and I followed it here. I figured it had nowhere else to go, so I opened it up and put a trap down.
He must have heard the rats that Jan mentioned. They weren't actually running in the walls, they were running in the vents. The next thing he did was call the Queen, but she didn't answer. Why didn't Laifa answer Tracker's message? The Queen that he's referring to is probably Laifa, but Laifa wasn't with him at the time. He must have called out to her telepathically. The familial bond was nullified by anti-magic field. Laifa didn't respond because she never got Tracker's message. The telepathic capabilities granted by familial bond were disabled by the anti-magic field, which means that this encounter happened during the lockdown. So that covers his first two statements. But you're not really sure what to make out of the flying rat he saw.
Tracker, why did you refer to the rat as flying?
Because rats don't usually jump and fly.
Yes, I got that. Is it possible that what you saw wasn't really a rat?
Rats are rats. They are small things that run and hide.
So rat is a general term for him. He uses it to refer to small animals that are acting suspiciously. At any rate, with everything you know now, his last statement doesn't make sense. Why did Tracker finally hear Lefa? He said that the Queen finally answered him. And this happened after he picked up the stick. It wasn't an animorph!
Surprisingly, it was not an animorph.
But that shouldn't have been possible because of the anti-magic field.
What happens when two anti-magic fields intersect?
The stick that Tracker obtained was actually the Sword of Spell-Eating.
Tracker, about that stick you found. Where did you put it after you came back to this room?
Tracker hides stick in safe space. Under the bed.
And this stick. Did it look like the sword that my friend is carrying?
What?
Hey! Your friend stole my other stick!
Wait, your other stick?
Yeah, Tracker found it while he was hiding from the metal men.
Metalman? Is he referring to the King's Guard? He must have left the bedroom when they were searching for the Sword of Spell-Eating.
Wait, are you the one who stole Celeste's sword?
Tracker!
Did Tracker do a bad? Fucking love this stupid-ass dog.
It's as I suspected. Tracker was the one that brought the Sword of Spell-Eating here.
What?
I have no idea how or why, but the Sword of Spell-Eating was lying in a hallway somewhere. Tracker found it and brought it to Beatrice's room. His room.
That can't be. So the person who framed Beatrice for the theft was... If it weren't for Tracker, the Inquisition would have never honed in on Beatrice at all. But why would the Sword of Spell-Eating be lying in a random hallway?
Listen!
You joke, Ifrit! But remember in
assure
Ace
you.
Attorney when we cross-examined the witness's pet parrot?
I promise you, we will not be calling Tracker to the witness stand. We will be doing something much, much stupider. More on that later. Liza, do you mind if I borrow a Tracker for a little bit?
It's okay, Queen. He smelled good. Tracker, trust him.
Why would it be the monkey? Thanks, I guess.
Okay, but only if you allow me to accompany you.
You know about Miriam's position. But how does Leifa feel about you prosecuting Beatrice? It's possible she might try to sabotage the investigation if you let her accompany you. But as Tracker's owner, you don't really have a choice. You nod to Leifa, but you also send a subtle gesture to Celeste to keep an eye on her. She silently nods and slowly follows behind her.
Alright, Tracker. Can you take us to the hallway where you found these rats?
Sure thing, King.
I forgot about that line!
I think he might ship Tyrion and Lifa. Which is...
Forgot about that line. It looks like you've received a promotion.
So it would seem.
The music could not be more appropriate. You allow Tracker to lead you to the location where he found the Sword of Spell-Eating. Surprisingly, it's fairly close to Beatrice's room. He apparently didn't travel very far before he met those rats he mentioned. Hey, Aster, I'm a king now.
Hey, Aster, look at me. Look at me. I'm the king now.
As you continue towards your destination, Tracker suddenly becomes extremely tense.
Looks like it's war, Tyrion.
Tracker, what's wrong?
Enemy.
Huh?
Before you even have a chance to react, Tracker steps between you and Eris and begins angrily barking at her.
Good boy.
Oh dear.
Tracker? Stop that! Lytha tries to calm Tracker down, but he's undeterred. He continues to bark at Eris, and it looks like it's taking all of Lytha's strength to hold him back. I'm terribly sorry. He is not usually like this.
Also, how did you get in here?
It's to be expected. I'm not sure why, but animals have always disliked me.
What is Eris doing here? You recall seeing her at the barracks, too. She said that her father is friends with Beatrice, but is she involved in this case somehow?
Yeah, Ifrit, I'm not sure how much you've been around for, but that's kind of Eris's thing.
Yep.
At any rate, you came here for a purpose. You should examine this hallway and see if you can find any clues.
Oh, yeah, no, that's Eris's thing.
What?
What do you see?
The vents have traces of illusion magic inside them.
What?
The traces also go deep inside these vents. It's the same for the vents on the other side, too.
She doesn't just break the fourth wall, she gaslights the fourth wall.
I mean...
Hey, Eris, what are you doing here?
Oh! Actually, I don't think she does.
This is the thing. She
What
hasn't done that yet.
What are you doing here, Eris?
I should be asking you the same thing. I recall you telling me that you were a defense attorney. Yet here you are, prosecuting a defendant. You're even leading the Inquisition that you supposedly hate so much. But to answer your question, I'm here on behalf of Beatrice.
My sister?
Yes, Tamara is occupied handling other aspects of the case, keeping my father from murdering her mostly. So she sent me here to investigate on her behalf.
What? She would have to trust you a lot to let you handle something so important. How do you two even know each other? You said she was acquainted with your father, but...
We met during her days at the Imperial Academy. We both studied illusion magic together.
There's a 30-year age difference?
Tenure.
She's 16.
Yes.
Ruby's 46.
Beatrice, dear.
Oh.
We're talking about Beatrice.
I thought Tyrion was saying that Ruby would have to trust her a lot.
I've always been a patron of hers. It saddens me to see her in this dreadful situation.
You're 16! Patron my fat queer ass!
So let's look at these normally.
There's an air vent over here. It appears to go from the ceiling to the ground floor. Is this where that rat escaped to, Tracker?
That's where the jumping rat went.
I thought you said it was a flying rat.
Tracker see that too.
Okay. It would probably be better to just move on.
So where did this rat come from?
Rat come out the other wall.
You mean the vent on the opposite side that clearly isn't just a mirror image of the first one?
Yes, Tracker saw flying rat escape that way.
What was this rat doing here in the first place?
Why would there be traces of illusion magic inside the vents? What spell could have possibly left those traces?
As I told you many months ago, illusion spells tend to do one of two things. They either create freestanding illusions, or they can disguise an existing creature.
I doubt someone created a small freestanding illusion in the vents. So a disguised creature must have been inside these vents at some point.
But these vents are tiny! No one would be able to fit inside them.
Tracker could see them now, so Tracker did one final bork to scare them off. The rats were scared and went back into the walls.
But a rat would be able to fit in these vents.
Well, yeah, I guess that'd be true. But that would mean that rat had an illusion spell active on it at the time.
It's not only that.
He said that the queen finally answered him, and this happened after he picked up a stick. But that shouldn't have been possible because of the anti-magic field.
Tracker saw this rat during the lockdown.
They would have been inside the anti-magic field created by the lockdown.
There can only be one way that rat could have an illusion spell active on it.
Wait, you can't mean...
That rat was holding the sword of spell eating.
Tracker's testimony. On the night of the murder, Tracker smelled something strange and followed the scent to the hallway north of Beatrice's bedroom. There he saw a flying rat come out from the northern air vent. Tracker barked at this rat and scared it away. When this happened, the rat supposedly dropped the sword of spell eating. Tracker took the sword and brought it back to Beatrice's room.
Right, well, we'll have to make note of that typo as well, but whatever.
What? But how is that possible? A rat wouldn't have the strength or hands to carry the sword.
Tracker's vocabulary is... vocabulary? Tracker's vocabulary is primitive and limited. He uses the word rat to describe small creatures that hide and act suspiciously.
But even if it wasn't an actual rat, it still couldn't have been a human, right?
Your Honor, this dog told me the craziest piece of evidence. You're right. It would have been a small animal. A small animal with the strength and dexterity to traverse a small air vent while holding his sword. Sorry, but I really have to ask, is that a monkey riding down your back?
Yes, I've been going to therapy. I've been going to rehab about it.
This is my familiar, Eugene.
No! Are you serious?
We know that Harold had a motive to kill William Frega. He was planning to defund the Heralds in Hall of History. They had an argument that night, and that's when William Frega decided that he was going to defund Harold's museums. He must have struck a deal with Beatrice, and with Beatrice's portion of House Frega, she could have easily kept his museums funded. He could have faked the robbery and sent his familiar to murder William.
I can't believe
Yes.
this.
Come on, get it! And there's something else that Tracker said.
Tracker could smell where Rat was, so Tracker barked at him. Tracker must have scared Rat because he fell onto the floor and dropped his stick.
The rat had a stick? Tracker, you said you had to smell to see where the rat was. And when he dropped his stick, you were finally able to see him. Does that mean you couldn't visually see him before he fell down?
Yeah, Tracker couldn't see the rat with his eyes, so Tracker used his nose to see it.
The monkey was invisible!
Horrible invisible monkeys!
No one would have noticed a small invisible animal, on account of it being invisible. In addition to that, he moved through the air vents. Eugene would have been nearly undetectable that night. Beatrice is a master of illusion magic, so it's possible she cast invisibility on Eugene.
Invisibility. One of the highest forms of illusion magic. This spell makes the target creature or object completely invisible. While invisible, the target will be completely transparent and undetectable visually. If targeting a creature, the spell will also affect anything that the creature is wearing or holding. Occultare.
And then there's the position of this air vent. We're currently in the hallway just north of Beatrice's room. This air vent connects to the ground floor. If we align the two floor maps together, this vent must lead to the storage room.
Z, I see you took notice of the gesture needed to carry out the invisibility spell.
Right, the air vent there curved upwards. This must be where it leads.
And according to Jan, that air vent led directly to William's study. It would have been it would have been the perfect route to enter William's study and leave undetected.
But he wouldn't have needed to nullify the lock to enter that room. Why would he need to use the sort of spell eating at all?
Because of familial bond. They can telepathically communicate with each other. Harold probably needed Eugene to hold the sword so he could tell him exactly where to go. The sword's magic affects anyone magically connected to the wielder, and familial bond connects them magically. It makes sense now. Harold could have easily faked the robbery to take suspicion off of him. It's even possible that he was lying about how the display glass was shattered.
But I've known Lord Haraldson for many years. I just can't believe that he'd be involved in this. She may have known Harold for a long time, but she's never read his thoughts. His thoughts were very hostile and rude, despite his kind expression. He's very good at hiding what he's truly feeling. And Beatrice, there's no way she'd participate in a plan like this.
Look, Litha, I know you don't want to suspect your sister, but...
Not that. Beatrice would never trust anyone enough to work together like this.
But she's completely blind. Wouldn't have much of a choice.
Even so, she's not the type of person to trust her accomplice to stay quiet. She'd find a way to carry out a plan herself, and she'd only employ someone else's help if she had full control of them. Litha probably knows her better than you do, but you doubt that working alone would be possible with her condition. And you can't think of any other way she'd be involved in this. At any rate, we're finished here, aren't we?
Yes. Thank you for lending Tracker to us, Litha.
I only want to help you find out what really happened. Don't make me regret trusting you, Mr. Cuthbert.
If you're truly on the side of justice, then you won't.
Good. Now if you'll excuse me.
So that's it, right? We finally know who really committed the murder then.
And if you can get Harold to confess on the stand, he might reveal Beatrice's involvement as well. If he does that, you might be able to convince her and Ms. Tamora to take a plea deal. Although knowing Ms. Tamora, that will be easier said than done. She regretted trusting him the moment they started that trial. I agree.
Well, this is definitely the lead that we've been looking for.
But is it really enough? We still don't have any physical evidence.
It'll have to do for now. We're running out of time. We'll just have to call Harold to the stand to testify about what he did that night. If I can push him far enough, I might be able to catch him lying.
Tyrion getting shunned by his mom.
Mommy, no!
But you doubt it'll be that easy. He has a good poker face. Just how much will he be able to hide his true thoughts?
I already gave my statement to the Inquisition. Is my testimony really necessary? Sorry, old-timer. My orders come straight from the prosecutor. We're going to need to put you on the stand today. I understand. I'll do what I can to help.
Little monkey thinking horrible little thoughts. It is horrible little brain.
This horrible little monkey brain.
And with that, we will be back to continue Case 4 next week.
Oh, Mama, I told you this one takes a lot of left turns.
Ruby would not say that if written.
I'm glad you've got that level of faith in her. No, yep. There you go.
Oh, mama! That went a bit longer than I necessarily wanted to, but we had to get to Tracker.
Oh, we just...
I wasn't gonna end tonight's episode before we got the Tracker.
Tracker's a good boy! But, yeah. Yeah, we're not even done with the random sudden hairpin turns.
Every turn in this case is a left.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, so... next week, we will be interrogating Harold Haraldson
And his horrible little monkey!
to find out what really went on.
Because apparently we can do that now.
Well, again, Ace Attorney had us interrogate a parrot.
Okay. Parrots can at least imitate human languages.
Monkeys are smart. By animal standards. I know they can't talk, but...
Yeah, it is very specifically the talking. That's just kind of... That's the weird part, here's what I'm saying.
We'll figure that out next week. Anyway, thank you so much to everybody who stopped by. We hope you'll all be back around next week to see what crazy turn this case takes next. And until then, what does this button do?
No, not the monkey button!